Shalom, shalom. We are the Israelites, and we come out here to teach our people that they're the kings and the princesses of the earth.
That's right.
That we don't have to depend on another nation, and that the Bible says that we're the kings and princesses. And we come out here to teach our own people, not every people, because not every people is our people. There's one people of God and there's one people of the devil, and we are the people of God. But without further ado, let me give praises unto the Most High, and I say, Barakatai Hawa, Barakatai Rashai, Barakatai Hawa, Barakatai Rashai, I Emmanuel, Shalom, Kwam Yasharahla, Kwam Yasharahla. Yes, and may all praises be unto the Most High, because the Most High created everything and everyone. And people want to discredit the Most High more time, but we're not out here discrediting the Most High. We're giving the Most High his credit, which is due. He made me, therefore I'm going to do his work.
That's right.
And every day that I live, I'm going to do his work. And I'm going to bring out what the wicked does. Get me Job chapter 30 and verse 1. So like,
Job chapter 30 and verse 1. But no, they that are younger than I have me in derision.
so these people that are younger than we are have us in derision. They have us in a frenzy. They have us in a trap.
Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
And it's talking about Esau. We don't even want Esau with the dogs of our flock. We don't want them near our animals, because we don't know what they would do to our animals. These people are a wicked set of people, and they know who they are. That's why they're getting burned out in America right now. And it's just the rich people that are getting burning out. The athletes, the film stars, and it's true judgment. All praises be unto the Most High for that. Because they need to get rid of. Those are the people that are running Hollywood, and all kind of wickedness is going on in Hollywood. Raping little children, little boys, little girls. That's why they're getting judgment, and their judgment is going to be grievous.
Verse 2. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want of famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former times, desolate and waste.
So they fled into the wilderness in former times. That's why they're the real Neanderthals. We ain't no Neanderthals, because we're not even a percentage of a Neanderthal. The Europeans, the Caucasians, are more than are above 7% Neanderthal. That means they're the cavemen on the earth. That's why they love their meat rare. That's why when they go to their restaurant, they like to get their steak medium rare with blood in it. But we can't eat anything with blood in it because the law commands us not to.
Right.
We're a precept.
Psalms 14 verse 1. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Yahweh. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that does good.
So only the fool says that there's no power. That science and the Big Bang Theory created the earth. How can the Big Bang Theory create wind? It's foolishness that they teach you and that they like to teach our people. Something about the Big Bang Theory, and the Big Bang Theory is nothing except two particles collided together and then the whole world was made. What kind of foolishness is that? Bring out your precept. There's a precept.
Job chapter 30 and verse 4. Who cut up mellows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat.
So this is how fool this Edomite nation is, because they don't find good food. We're the chefs. We're the people that actually created the nice and good food.
That's right.
But all they create is dried pasta. That's why we compare them to salt and pepper, because that's all they use, salt and pepper.
Right.
And sometimes not even that, they use like lemon to cook their chicken.
Verse 5. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief.
So they were driven forth from among men. Esau was driven forth because no one liked him. He stunk, and he was a person that was a vile person. So who's gonna want to stand next to someone that stinks and is a vile person?
That's right.
That's why he was driven forth from among men.
Right.
He was told, no man, you can't chill here, you need to go. And that's what he is a thief. He's everything that's linked with evil.
Right.
There's nothing good about him.
Right.
Because even when he tries to be good, he's deceitful as hell. And he's still evil. And when he says, oh, I'm going to go and plant trees, or I'm going to go and help the people in Africa, I'm going to set up UNICEF. Most of the time your money isn't, when you're sending your money to UNICEF, it ain't even going to the people in Africa. It's going to the Edomites' back pocket.
Right.
And it's going to the government.
Job 30 and verse 6. To dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
That's why you man are called the Caucasians, because you man love to climb mountains and love to live in the mountains. You guys are good at rock climbing. That's why you call the Caucasians, from the mountains of Caucasus, out of Georgia. That's why you love high places. That's why you build your penthouses and you build the Shard, you build the Burj Khalifa.
Verse 7. Among the bushes they prayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth.
See, they were children of fools. And what? They were children of fools. Even now you're a fool. Why are you still taking a picture after we said not to? These people are foolish people, idiotic people. We told him, listen, don't do that. I even shook my head at him and still he's going to take the picture like a foolish person. And now he's getting dealt with. Idiot. Anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on. I'm going to Kings and now. Three Kings.
Kings. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 8, and verse 52.
Bring it up.
That thine eyes may be open unto the supplication of thy servant, and unto the supplication of thy people Israel.
Now unto everyone.
Unto thy people Israel. To hearken unto them in all that they call for unto thee.
So this is showing you that the Lord only deals with Israel. There is no other people that the Lord dealt with, because it doesn't say so you can hearken unto all people. It says so you can listen unto the Israelites.
Verse 53. For thou didst separate them from among all the people of the earth.
So the Lord separated us from among all the people of the earth. That's why we could do things better than every other people. That's why we are the kings and the princesses of the earth. Because we're separate. We're supposed to be separate.
To be thine inheritance, as thou spakest by the hand of Moses, thy servant.
So that we could be the Lord's inheritance, which he has spoken by Moses. In Moses' times, he spoke to us to tell us, listen, you are my chosen people. You're the people that I chose. Not all people are his people.
That's right.
The Ishmaelite man will never be his people because he didn't choose him. Right. In fact, he told our foremothers to cast Ishmael away.
Right.
He told, that's why Esau couldn't dwell with us. He didn't want the blessing. And he sought it carefully with tears afterwards, because he knew that we have the power. So only we can converse and communicate with the Lord.
That's right.
Because we are the people of Him. That's the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and no other people.
Deuteronomy 6:25.
You know.
And it shall be our righteousness if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our power, as He have commanded us.
So it's going to be the Israelites' righteousness when we observe His law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
His law, statutes, and commandments is not to come out and shop on the Sabbath day.
That's right.
And not do your own pleasure. Because today is a special day unto the Most High. He created the world in 7 days, and on 6 days, and on the 7th day He rested.
That's right.
So we, His children, need to rest too.
Right.
He gave us laws which teach us good things, and which even the Edomites have to follow after, which is thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. This is the laws that He gave to us, that they come and copy off of us. But yet they say, no, the commandments are done away with. Foolishness. Bring out your precept.
Psalms 119 and 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Sister. So the Lord's word is an everlasting righteousness, and the laws is the truth.
Right.
That's why the Bible is true and every man is a liar. Get me that in Romans chapter 6 and verse 9. 3 and verse 7.
Romans. What is something that Romans chapter 3 verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid.
So if those people that say, oh, I don't believe in God, or I don't believe in what the Bible says, that unbelief is going to make no effect.
God forbid. Yea. Let God be true, but every man
man a liar.
So let God be true and every other man a liar.
Right.
So no man can tell us what's written in the Bible. That's of the other nations. Because God is true and every other man is a liar. And His word is here for us to learn from. His word is here for us to do. Not for us to read and call it a fairy tale and fantasy book. Because it's not.
Genesis chapter 2 verse 13.
Read on.
And the name of the second river is Gihon. Genesis chapter 2 verse 13. And the name of the second river is Gihon, and the same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia.
So now we're going to get onto the Ethiopians and their doctrines and what, because our people love to follow after Egyptology and call themselves Rasta, Ethiopian, so on and so forth, and Kemet. But we're out here to break this Kemet, Rasta and Ethiopian doctrine down. Because the Ethiopians aren't the chosen people.
That's right.
So when you're going to call yourself an Ethiopian, a Kemet, a Rasta, this is what you're calling yourself. Read Genesis chapter 7.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Put, and Canaan.
So this is the sons of Ham. And we're going to read who Ham is and what lineage Ham comes from. Because yes, he is the son of Noah. But let's find out what Ham did. And Cush is the Ethiopians.
Genesis chapter 9, verse 25. Verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers
and told his two brethren that without.
So Ham is already a funky guy, because who's going to see the nakedness of their father and start laughing at him? Ham is not an upright person, because an upright person would never see your father naked on the floor and not cover him up. But what did Shem and what did Japheth and Shem do?
And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father.
So this is what a righteous brother would do. They will cover their father's nakedness.
Right.
And their face were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine, and knew that his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be upon his brethren.
See, so cursed be this lineage of Ham. And when you're pertaining yourself to be an Ethiopian, when you're pertaining yourself to be a Rasta man, you're saying you're basically a cursed nation, and you're denying the power, because Noah said, "Cursed be Canaan."
26. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem.
See, and who do we come off of? We come off of the Shemitic line.
Right.
We don't come off the Hamitic line. The Hamitic line is for the Ethiopians, for the Canaanites, for the Libyans, for the people that don't look like us. Because there's a difference between us and the Egyptians.
Right.
Give me that in Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7.
Bring it out.
Zephaniah 2 and verse 12. He Ethiopian also, he shall be slain by my sword.
So the Ethiopians is going to be killed by the Lord's sword.
Right.
So how are they the chosen people? They aren't the chosen people.
Right.
And what's it called again? Their Kabanagas is all folly.
Exodus 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue.
So against the children of Israel, no Edomite, no Ishmaelite, no Hamite can move their tongue.
Against man or beast,
Against us, or even our cattle and our beasts that we own.
that ye may know how the Lord do put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
So the Lord puts a difference between us and the Egyptians. And the Egyptians are not the ones in Egypt right now.
Right.
Those aren't the native Egyptians. Because if they were the native Egyptians, they would have dark skin complexion, because that's how it's written. When you go to the museums, you'll see the Egyptians as so-called dark people.
Right.
So they're lying to you. Those people in that land right now, they're called Ottoman Turks
That's right.
and Arabs, and they all migrated there and killed off the. Anyway, that's their problem. That's not our problem.
Right.
But the Lord puts a difference between us and the Egyptians. So when we're saying, oh, we're going to go back to Africa, and when we're saying we're all Ethiopians, blah, 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 and we're going to follow after the Constance and the Ethiopian doctrine, that's lies. We're not following off of that.
That's right.
Because that's not our lineage. That's their lineage. That's the Hamitic people's lineage.
Right.
But anyway, we're going to continue on them still. Get me 1 Kings chapter 10 and verse 1.
This is book of 1 Kings, chapter 10, and verse 1. And when the queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions.
So the Queen of Sheba, we know that the Queen of Sheba came from Ethiopia.
That's right.
So this was the Queen of Sheba coming to Solomon because she found out this man has a load of wisdom and it's of the Lord. So she came and challenged him with all kinds of hard questions. Now we're gonna get the understanding for why the Queen of Sheba came on to Solomon anyway, to ask him of such questions.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 15. God have granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is might, for the things that are given me, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom, and directeth the wise. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 15. God hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet, for the things that are given me, before he is that leadeth unto wisdom, and this directive the wise.
So it's Yahweh that gave Solomon the wisdom, and
Right.
he's directing Solomon in his wisdom.
That's right.
For in his hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also, and knowledge of workmanship. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely, to know how the world was made, and the operation of the elements.
So this is why Esau and a lot of the other nations get their wisdom from, their worldly wisdom. They get it from Solomon, because Solomon, Yahweh gave Solomon this wisdom, and Solomon wrote down the wisdom and how the world works, how the sun operates, so on and so forth. It's going to continue to tell you anyway.
The beginning, ending, and Midas of the time, the alterations of the turning of the sun, and the change of seasons.
And the changing of seasons. This is why we know what springtime is from what wintertime is. This is not spring. This is not the new year.
Right.
This is winter. The water is frozen outside. How the hell can this be New Year's? There's no leaves on the tree. This is the dead cold of winter. And the elites of the Edomite nation tell you it's New Year, so you just go and work with that. But we don't work with this. That's why they have April Fool's Day telling you, oh, the New Year's in January, but it's actually in April. That's why they have April Fool's Day. It's to fool you people.
Right.
And Esau's still out here in shorts, and it's 0 degrees.
The circuits of years, the positions of stars, the nature of living creatures, and the forays of wild beasts.
So the natures of living creatures and the fierceness of wild beasts.
The violence of winds, and the reasoning of man, the devastators of plants, and the vestures of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me, for in her is an understanding, spirit, holy, one only.
Sister, do you want to learn wisdom from the Bible? Because the wisest man on earth was King Solomon after Yahushua. So, if you want to get wisdom, this is why Solomon was so rich, because people wanted to find out of his wisdom. But anyway, let's get back to the Queen of Sheba, because she came onto Solomon for his wisdom from the Bible.
What with the word? Come, sister. How you doing? Believe in the Bible. Come, let's show you the history. Come.
That's
Sister.
this is
You're gonna
5
teach
minutes,
it.
5
You're
minutes.
gonna learn something.
Yeah, don't worry, because we're here to teach our people, because we love our people.
Right.
Did you know that you'll be an Israelite according to the Bible? Or do you think you're a black woman? Ah. But do you think you're a black woman? Okay. Do you know that's not what the Lord calls us? Anyway, let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. Get me Luke. Get me Matthew chapter 18 and verse 20. We're going to show you through the Bible, sis. Sis. Alright. Anyway.
Exactly. Damn liar.
Yeah, just read Matthew 18 and 20.
Matthew 18 and verse 20.
Bring it out!
For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them.
So this is church. Wherever 2 or 3 is gathered together, the Lord is in the midst. As long as we're reading the Bible and we're reading it in truth and in sincerity.
That's right.
And showing our people from the Bible the things that they should do from what they shouldn't do.
Right.
That's church. Church is not a building. Because these what they call churches, they're just buildings. Because pastor is asking for money and all kinds of collection. When tithes is not money. Tithes is food.
Right.
And tithes was food for the Levites. Because when the Levites were putting in such a good work for the nation of Israel, they didn't have land and cattle that they could tend to. And they can't tend to it 24/7. Just like the Israelite man and woman that wasn't a Levite. So that's why the Levites needed tithes. But now the pastor said, now give me the 10th of what you have. And they've got ATM machines in churches, and even at funerals, they're making people throw some offering.
Right.
This is the wickedness of the church, or what they call the church, when it's just a building.
Sis, don't turn up your lips, come.
Let's go back to First King. Thank you.
This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 10 and verse 2. And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels and bare spices, and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart.
So she came to Solomon with all kinds of spices, precious stones, everything she came to Solomon with. And it says a massive train of these resources. And she came and communed with Solomon and asked everything that she wanted to ask that was in her mind. Like how the sun rises, when the moon comes out, how the moon controls the tides. Because Solomon knew all of these things.
Right.
As we read in Wisdom of Solomon.
Verse 3. And Solomon told her all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king which he had told her not.
So Solomon answered all of our questions and answered all of our questions with perfection. Because Solomon had this wisdom from the Lord. And we're going to find out what the Queen of Sheba says unto Solomon when all's said and done.
Verse 4. 1 Kings 10 and verse 4. And when the Queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sittings of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and the asset by which he went up unto the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her.
Because she was seeing the things that King Solomon had. And she was in awe. Anyone would be in awe because the servants were good. Everything was nice because everything was in order and everything just looked beautiful.
Right.
That's why she was in awe. There was gold for chandeliers. We were eating off of gold plates.
That's
Right.
Using gold cutlery.
1 Kings 10 And verse 6. And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard.
Brother, you got a minute? Because you're a man, you're a king, and your lady's a princess too. Please, 2 minutes. Aye.
1 Kings 10 and verse 6. And she said to the king, it was a true report that I heard of mine own land, of thine acts, of thy wisdom. Albeit I believed not the words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it, and behold, the half was not told me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceeded the fame which I heard.
So now she's professing on to King Solomon. Wow. I heard